So good evening to everyone, and this is the first module, creating Azure App Services, and basically this covers your whatever website you have created. Like in the development, generally we first start with the creating our website and deploying it to IIS and those things which we do in our day-to-day activity. So this covers how we can explore this in Azure. Okay. So who am I? So myself, Shadab Hassan, and my Microsoft certified trainer and Microsoft certified cloud architect, having 14 years of experience in Azure.NET, and I worked on BizTalk. So this is my website. So you can follow for the blog, whatever I post there, and then we'll post this video as well on the YouTube. You can reach out on my mail ID, or we have Telegram and WhatsApp link as well. So this is my introduction. So what we are going to cover in this topic, so we'll be creating a web app and the web plan, and then creating and deploying the website, monitoring it, and just configuring it and seeing it how it works in Azure. So first of all, we have, as we know, the Azure offers, left side we have a private cloud. So it's complete on-premises application where we are deploying application in our data center. Like we have our server, our on-premises infrastructure configured, and we are doing everything in our on-premises. So everything is under our control. But when we are moving to infrastructure, like when we are creating a VM, like virtual machine or in Azure. So we will be will not be managing the networking, compute, and storage. It will be managed by the Azure, and we will be only having the operating system access, like virtual machine access and application deployed on those. And another flavor which we have, the platform as a service. So where we don't have the underlying operating system, other things access, only we deploy application and use the data. And fourth part, we have the software as a services. Software as a services, like this is like pay and use. Like if you're using Office, you're using Gmail, you're using Hotmail. So those, whatever subscription you have, you pay and you use for that. So that is called software as a services. So these three types of offering which cloud offers. So if you go with any cloud, like if you go with the Azure, you go with the AWS, you go with the Google Cloud. So these are the offering you will get. And left side you have on-premises, the existing one we have. Okay, so what the feature we get with this app services which we deploy in Azure. So the first thing, like you can host any code like .NET, Java, Ruby, Node.js, PHP, Python. So all those applications which can be hosted in Azure as a application. Okay, and then you have the website created, and you will be creating a app service plan, and then you will be hosting over there. What feature the web app gives? This is like a scalable hosting, and the web application you'll be hosting, it provides you the features like you can easily deploy, you don't have dependency for creating like going for the access and those things, which will be directly available for you. So like it's a web hosting which you just go on the portal and just you opt for those and you have it ready. So next is the key features, like what the features we get from the web apps, like it supports multiple languages. Second is DevOps optimization, like you can directly use your Azure DevOps, Git, Bitbucket, and you can deploy your application. So this is the features you get from the using the web app. Okay, so it's global, scalable, highly available. So what you can do here, like anytime when you need the resources, extra resources which you want to consume, or you have the more data, like more load coming on website, so that you can increase, like scale your application. Okay, so we'll be seeing this in the upcoming labs. Okay, another things, you have the multiple connector with the SaaS platform. Like whenever you want to connect to the like Facebook, Gmail, you want to authenticate with AD. So you don't have to do much coding on that. It's very simple, and just you in the configuration itself, you can complete those activities. Okay, so another, this is continuing with the features like security and compliance. You have the application template like ARM template, other things like existing WordPress template available, which you can integrate with your web apps. Okay, another feature, we have the Visual Studio integration. So directly you can use the Visual Studio to deploy, debug, so those activities which you can perform with the Visual Studio. Next is the cross-origin sharing, which you support. So you can create API, you can push notification, data share, those you can perform with the web app. Next is the serverless code, runtime on demand without having the explicitly provisioned infrastructure. So directly you can use a serverless as well as this. Okay, so this is the app service plan. Like what happens generally, you create a web app service plan, and you deploy your different web apps. So within one app service plan, you can deploy a multiple web apps over there, and you can utilize that. So let's jump into the portal, and I'll show you how that can be done. Okay, so hope you all have created your Azure portal subscription. And if you're not, just you can go ahead and create a free subscription with the portal.azure.com. Okay. So first thing first, like see here, whatever comes with the resource group. First thing is the resource group here, and like resource group is nothing. It's a container, like a folder which you create on your desktop. Like if it's a similar thing, like if you are creating a folder, what you will keep in the folder, you will keep some specific kind of stuff in the folder. So same thing is resource group. You're categorizing your app and your services in the resource group. So what resource group provide, like you can create one resource group for UAT, one resource group for development, one resource group for production. So like that, you can categorize those resources in the resource group. So this is actually coming to the let me just create a okay. You have a resource group. So this is like a container which you will be categorizing your resources within this. So whatever resources you have, you will be keeping it here. Okay. So that is the resource group, and it's like a container you will be creating. Okay. So what the resources, like you have like one subscription. This is my one account which can have the multiple subscription. Okay. And multiple subscription can have a multiple resource group inside that. And then multiple resource group can have a multiple services. Then multiple services can have a multiple app service plan, and one app service plan can have multiple web apps. Okay. So this is what we have to do. So just I'm going and creating a new resource group. Okay. So this is my subscription. I just name it day one. and I'm creating it to STS2. Okay, so this is my resource group is ready here. Okay, we don't have anything here, so we'll be creating a new resource here. Okay. We can go here and search web app. So here I am creating a web app. Okay, so we'll be selecting a subscription, we'll be selecting a resource group name, and here will be a website name. Okay, so I'm just giving a day one training. Okay, here you want to, what you want to do, see, this is the code, like I told you, this is the .NET Core, ASP.NET, Java, Node, Python, PHP, Ruby, all these are supported here. So I'm selecting .NET Core for now. Also, you have a Docker support. Okay, so Docker container also you can deploy inside your web app. So now I am selecting a .NET Core. Region, I can select any region. Okay. Coming to this web app plan, see, this is the asking for which plan you want. So just click here, 10 size. So this is the shared infrastructure which Microsoft provide. Like we have a 1 GB memory, okay, and 60-minute day compute. And second, you have shared infrastructure where you have 1 GB memory and 240 minutes per day compute. Okay. Then if you go for the production one, you have a different size. So what it is, it's basically a PaaS VM which Microsoft creates. So you don't have the access to the underlying infrastructure. You will be only having a resources available for you to host your website. So what, like you are selecting this 3 GB memory. What it does, Microsoft does, it creates a virtual machine. This is called PaaS VM behind the scene and keep it ready for you. And there will be you can say IaaS hosted over there, and you'll be using those IaaS to deploy your web app. So different pricing tier will have a different feature. So you might be having question from this around, and like what pricing tier supports auto scale up to 20 instance. So that kind of question might come in your exam. Like you have the auto scale up to 20 instance, here you have 10 instance, which will be having custom domain support. So those questions might come from this pricing tier as well. Okay. I'll share the path of, this is the pricing tier you have. You can go and check what it supports actually. So in the free pricing tier, you can host up to 10 web applications. It provides 1 GB disk space and it's free. Shared access, you have 100 application, web application you can host. It provides 1 GB disk space. Its price is here per hour. So it's different from the region to region as well. So if you select South India, it will be different pricing tier. If you select Central India, it will be a different pricing tier. So region to region, its price differs. So this is one of the important topic which you should cover for your exam as well. So here we have like second, like you have the dev test, you have production, you have isolated. So these are the type of pricing tier which Microsoft provides you. Okay, so I'm just selecting whatever is there. So it's giving me the standard S1. Okay, so this is the standard S1. So what it gives you: custom domain, auto scale up to 10 instance, subject to availability. So subject to availability means like if resources are available with the Microsoft, that gives you the to increase your and scale your application. Okay, you have the slots, like you will be creating a slot to create a like you can create in your inside your web app, you can create a different slot. You can create a daily backup. Then you have traffic manager, you have the compute unit, memory, storage. So these are the Microsoft giving me. So I can change this name as well. Okay, next. Currently, I don't need application insight. This application insight is for you can enable it to monitoring purpose. Like you can have your monitoring enabled for your application, which gets the logs from your application and display it here. So currently, I'm not interested in that. And then click on next. What this tag mean? You can tag your resources. Like this is the dev resources, this is the staging resources, like that. You can tag it here, and it's coming here. So it gives a summary, and then you can create. So it will take some 1 to 2 minutes. So it's very simple. You don't have to go and ask someone that I need a server for I want to deploy an application and those things. It's very simple. If you have access, you can directly go and create for your like for your company as well. If you have a development resource group access to deploy. So what else can be done on the resource group level? Like resource group level, you can have a access level defined as well. So if I go on the resource group level, I can define the access. Okay, access control. Okay, so whom I want to give access. So those you can define it here. So like I don't want to give like we have a different resource group, like one for the production, one for the staging, and production one I don't want to give access to the developer. So those I can control it from here. Also, I can define what kind of template is allowed. Like I can say that you are not allowed to create a SQL application. So those all like you can control it on the resource group level. Also, it's a cost analysis. You can do it here. You can budget. You can define a specific budget. Like I have created a one resource group for my a training group department, one for the marketing department. I want to budget this particular resource group that this much it should be having. After that, you should start giving the alert. So those applications you can control it on the resource group level. Okay, so you can see here, this is the completed. If I go to the day one, okay, I have two things here. One is the app service, second is the app service plan. Okay, so what it's giving? One is I have created only one application. I want to host only one application, but it has creating behind a plan for me. So this plan you can deploy multiple application over there. So this is the basically you can say here. You have a plan, you have selected what plan you have selected, like it's coming here, S1. Okay, so this is the app service plan. Second is your app service. So this is my website, actual website. And it has given me the URL which can be accessed from anywhere. So this is my website URL. Okay, there is nothing hosted, so it's just showing this one. Okay, so I'll show you how to host those as well. Okay. So let's explore one by one. Going to the app service plan. Okay. Scale up. Do you know a scale up and a scale out? There's two things. Anyone knows about this? A scale up or a scale out? A scale up is like vertical scaling. Vertical scaling means you are increasing the server capacity. Okay, so what you will be doing to increase the same capacity? You will be increasing your server capacity. Means I want to increase from 1.7 GB to 3.5 GB. Okay, so more load is coming, we can increase to 7 GB. Okay, so that will be a scale up, which is called a vertical scaling as well. This is not possible automatically. Someone has to go and manually change the plan and just say apply. Then only it takes place. Okay, so this scale up means vertical scaling will be manually. Next, you have a scale out. A scale out means you can either configure it manually, you can increase instance. Increasing instance means you have you can say it, you have one server and you are creating another server with the same size. And then you have a common endpoint which will be coming here, and all the application will connect here. Okay, so you are increasing the instance size here. Like I have created only one before. Okay, now I want 2, 3, 4. So I am increasing the same same server, placing it three different places. Okay, so this can be done automatically. You can configure it custom auto scale. You can go here and you can create a rule like when my memory consumption or CPU percentage goes more than 70%. Okay, you can configure here if it's more than 60%, increase the count instance by 1. Okay, so I'm telling this Azure, if my application goes more than 60% CPU utilization, create another instance for me. Same thing you have to create, like CPU percentage goes below less than 50%, decrease the count. Decrease count by 1. So I have set 2 rules here. Okay, one for increasing the count, one for decreasing the count. Okay, whenever my consumption goes more than 60%, it starts creating one count. If again both instances going 60%, it will create another one instance. So it automatically managing my application here. Okay, so this you can configure here. Okay, so I'm not going right now. So this is your, we'll come back to this again and see more options what we have. Okay, I'm just going to Visual Studio. And I just want to deploy a ASP.NET Core application on this web application. Any question till now you have? No doubt.
Shadab, one thing is like when you are doing a scale up, is it creating the clone of your existing machine or existing environment?
When you are doing a scale up?
Yeah.
See, a scale up is like you are increasing your server capacity.
Okay. Sorry.
So that
No, my question was about the scale out. So it is a
correct.
clone of that, right?
Yes.
Existing.
So
Okay.
so internally it creates a multiple instance of your application.
Okay.
So I can
So
create
like when,
5.
sir, like when you create a rule, like if you have a 60, more than 60, then it is creating a one more clone. And
Yeah,
again, if you reducing that by, if it is a 50%, it just reduce. So it is going to delete that particular clone that we have created when the second rule apply, or
correct,
how it will be.
correct. It just remove that instance for you.
Okay.
Okay. See, when you are going for a scale up, like you are changing the plan, so it means price is going to increase, of course. Let's suppose that I was having an S1 plan, now moving to this plan. So of course the price goes high. Okay. Same with the, see, here you have 2,800. Now if I'm changing to the 3.5, I'll be end up paying 9,600 per month. Okay. So similar thing is a scale out. Here also one instance is charge something else for you. Okay, this instance was charged, let's suppose that some amount. If it's increased for the time being, like for 5 minutes, it was like just now the load has increased and it was there for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. For that time, this instance was added newly. Okay, so this instance cost will be added additional for you. Okay, so you will be running two VM for that, correct? This is a one VM, this is the second VM. So you will be
Yeah.
paying for the two VM.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a PaaS VM. I'm not talking about the physical infrastructure of the VM because you will be not having the underlying access to your infrastructure and all.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just going and creating a new project. Okay. So I'm taking ASP.NET Core Web Application. And I'm creating MVC application. Okay. Taking longer time to create. Okay. The time it's getting created will come here and I'll show you. Okay. Now once that is ready, I need to deploy my application here. Okay. So how I can deploy? So there is a multiple way to deploy. There is a simplest way to get a publishing profile here. You have a publishing profile. So what it does, like you don't need to give access to your developer for deploying your application to the Azure, like you have to give Azure access. So directly you can give this publishing profile to them, and they can directly push their code to Azure. Okay, so it's downloaded here. Okay, so what this publishing profile is stored, like you have encrypted value of the username, password, your HTTP URL, if you have SQL Server connection string, so all those values this publishing profile holds. So directly, if you hand it over this to any developer, he will be able to deploy their application to this like Azure portal. Going to home. So this is the one of the inbuilt feature which we are talking about, the features of the web app, which is integrated with the your Visual Studio. Directly you can push your code from the Visual Studio. Just you can go here and click on publish. This publishing wizard is coming. So here you have the multiple option, like first you want to directly push to Azure. So here you will be and you have to enter all the details manually, and then you have to push Another thing, like you can push it to Docker. You have the web server. If you can push, if you have the option to push into FTP, here you have the import profile. So you just hand over this profile to any of the developers. They just can import this and deploy their application. You don't have to worry that they have to go to the Azure portal and do the login and then deploying, and they'll be changing some.
I browse the publishing profile we just now I have downloaded. Click on finish. So here you have the URL, it's automatically getting populated. So I'll be selecting here the publishing method as a web deploy. Okay, so here you get a URL. You have different methods, like you can deploy an FTP, read-only FTP, and the web deploy. So I'm selecting the web deploy option, and we selected here like URL, it's automatically getting populated. This is the configuration, like if you want to remote debugging, so that option you want to enable in your application, so you can select the remote debugging. Okay, and this is the target framework which automatically gets populated, and you can just click on publish. Okay, so it's deploying the code. Okay, so now the code has been deployed. You can go here to your day one resource group, you can go to the app service, and you browse your URL. You'll be having your application ready here. Okay, so this is the way which we can deploy from our Visual Studio. Okay, so what all we can see here. Okay, so just coming to the portal again, and you have the different options here which you can go and you can see. Okay, so first I'll just go to the console. Okay, dir. But all we can see here, the whatever was there in the Visual Studio, it's all has been deployed here. Okay, so you have exe, you have DLL, you have the application setting, everything is deployed here. You can't go and see the D drive physically because it's a PaaS VM which Microsoft giving you. Okay, and another way you have like you have advanced tool where you'll be having a Kudu, so where you can go and see your codes. Even you can have this app service editor where you can see your files, all the files will be displayed over there. So this is the way which you can browse your application. Okay, so coming to the another thing is the configuration part. So what you have in the configuration part here, okay, so generally what we do in application setting, what we keep in our application setting, sometimes we write connection string, sometimes we write some physical path, some variables we define in the application setting. So those all application setting you can add here, like you can give your new name of application setting, like path of share folder, like something, and you can write here like share folder path. So that could be accessible by this application. Okay, so here you have in this configuration. Okay, other than application setting, you have the connection string. You can set the default like you can change your application stack. Like if you want to change from this application from core to normal .NET application, that you can do. You can change any configuration here. Next is the default document, which page you want to set as a default application page. So whatever you have in your normal IIS page, everything you have been offered here. Okay, so this is the application setting. Coming to the authentication and authorization. So you see here, like generally it will be anonymous access now. Anyone can go and browse this application from the anywhere. So what I want only my organization to access this application. So what I'll do, I'll switch on the authentication mode enable. And what authentication mode I want from the Azure Active Directory. So like whatever the user organization has been created in the Active Directory, that those only will have the access. I want the authentication from the Google, I want authentication from Facebook. So these are the third-party authentication which has been provided. Okay, so you have to go and register your application in those particular portal. Like if I want to register with Google, and to configure, and you need to just follow some of the path, some of the steps to register in the Google application. So your application will be available in the your Azure portal to be configurable. Okay, so you need to just follow these some steps from the Google, and it will be done. Now I'll show you how to do with the Active Directory. Okay, you can just click on Active Directory. Next space. Okay, and save. This is not accessible. It's maybe restarting the application. Azure Active Directory. Express. Receive this. Okay, so this setting actually we have to do here. I have to go and see how we can. Express create new ID and create app. It's very simple actually. Yeah. So generally, what we have to do generally when in the normal application, when we have to authenticate with AD, we need to write some set of code to just go to LDAP and then browse the app user and then do the authentication with the user. So those activity which we have to do generally. But here, just simple configuration, you can do the authentication with your AD, and you can allow the user to enter the username, password, and then go and configure it. So this is the configuration which is available in the with the Azure AD. Okay, I'll just make this off now. Okay, next you have application insight. So application insight gives you the like log from your application, which wherever is failing, and whenever it's I've not enabled it while deploying. So if you enable it, it gives you the application details, all the application features, like where it's failing, logs, analytics, those you can analyze here. Okay, so this is another thing, is the system managed identity, which is providing like role-based authentication access. You can give like who is the user assigned, like one is the authentication, one is the authorization. So you will be defining like what kind of authentication and authorization will be available for your application to the end user. Next is the backup, which you have. You can create a regular backup. Okay, so whenever you want to configure, like if you have a database, you want to take a backup, and those things you will be configuring here, and it will be like taken backup automatically. You will be given some space for the backup. Like how this database backup works, like you will be configuring here the connection string. So those connection string will be taken care and backed up automatically. Okay. Next, another thing is custom domain. Like I want to link my domain with this Azure. Like I purchase a domain account, and I want to link my custom domain with this website. So I can link here. I can configure their CNAME. I can configure their bindings, all those things, which will be which will be connecting to my original domain. Okay, so you'll be configuring CNAME, you'll be configuring SSL. So all those settings, you'll be doing it here, so that your website will be linked with your original, whatever the purchase you have done, a purchase of custom domain. Just a minute.
So this one I was talking about authentication authorization, which is built in the application which you have, and then you'll be controlling all the application authorization and authentication on the. You don't have to write any code directly. It's just a configuration which creates the file. Even you have the storage file backup, IS logs available, managed entity. So those are already available. Okay. Okay, so one thing is hybrid connection manager. This is the one of the important topic which we are talking about. So what is hybrid connection manager? Like you want to connect to your database, like which is there in on-premises application, and you want to connect those. So that is like available in the hybrid connection manager. What you have to do, your application. You have okay, and then Another you have database. You want to connect your application to the database, and this database is not in Azure. This is in on-prem. Okay. And you have this in Azure. Okay. So now you have to connect this web app with the on-prem database. Like some of the client is saying that I don't want to move my database to Azure because of security reason or some of the reason. So they have to move their web app to the Azure. And for any reason, for the database connectivity, they have to come to the on-prem, or they want to keep some of the, like you can say, payment services, payment related services in the on-prem, which they want to connect. So what we have to do, we have to create a hybrid connection between your application and the okay. So here in the configuration, okay. So here you have the hybrid connection manager. And here you have to do, your web app will be connecting through the hybrid connection relay, and then you will be installing hybrid connection manager in your database, so which will connect internally to your application. So like here in the hybrid connection manager, you will be configuring your all the database related IP and the port, which will be open to the outside world. Okay, so this only this actually connects over the relay. If you check on the hybrid connection relay, so you will be finding on the how this relay works. Okay, next is the traffic manager. Okay, so let's suppose you will be getting multiple, you have deployed your application in US, UK, India on different location, and you want to route your traffic to the different environment.
So that you can do using the traffic manager. Okay, so how we can configure traffic manager? We can go to the website in Azure resources, and we can search for the traffic manager profile. Okay, you will be creating a traffic manager. So what basis of routing method you want to implement for this? You want to route on the basis of performance, you want to route on the basis of weightage, priority, geography, yeah, or there will be different values will be available. Let's suppose I want to route on the basis of performance. Okay, I'm selecting the resource group and create. Okay. Now you can see here in the day one resource group, you will be having a traffic manager created. Okay, so here's the traffic manager. Okay, now what you can do, you can add your website here in the traffic manager. Okay, so here you have the, you can anytime you can go ahead and change the performance, weight, or other things. Okay, here you can see the traffic view, all those things. Okay, here is the endpoint. You can add your multiple websites here. What endpoint you want, Azure endpoint, any external endpoint, or nested endpoint. Okay, you can give this name to US Hotel app service. Here it's listing my the app service which I have created. Okay, and you can add. Similarly, you can add here multiple endpoints. Okay, so now when the user is going to hit the for the end user, you will be giving this traffic manager URL. Okay. Endpoint. Okay, so it's takes some time to configure. So whenever you are hitting the traffic manager URL, it's taking you to the main website URL. So this is the benefit, like you can configure here multiple website here, and that will be taking load balancer. So another thing which you can do, you can change this performance to weight, priority, geographic. If I'll select geographic, means it will be going to the particular region. Like if any user is browsing from the US, it will go to the US website. If any person is browsing from the India region, it will go to the Asia Pacific any website. So those you can. Another thing, you can define a weight as well. So what is the weight? If you configure this weight, you can see there is a small change in the endpoint. Okay, and you will be having here weight added. Okay, so more number of weight, it will be the more number of weightage will be there. So if I add another website with the weightage 2, so that will having more weight, so the more traffic will go on that particular website. So this is the way which we can configure a traffic manager in our application. So here you can see in the map as well, the priority traffic routing method is given. So here we have weight, you have performance, geographic region. So these are there. Okay. So there are some labs on the PowerShell and the Azure CLI. If you go to the portal, you'll be having Azure CLI as well. So you can use this Azure CLI to write any command. Whatever we are doing from this application, you can directly write on the PowerShell or the Bash code, which will be like doing the same thing. Whatever we are doing from the application, you can write a script and you can automate all these applications. So here is some of the Azure command which has been given. You can try it by your own. If you have any problem, you can let me know, because these are the very simple steps which has been given. And this will be the part of your exam as well. So they'll be giving us steps, and they'll say which steps is correct, or which step we have to which is not correct, or arrange the steps. So these kind of questions will be coming. Another small topic on the Linux servers, which is saying that, like you might have seen here, you have the option to deploy application web app on the Linux as well. So you can deploy your Linux web application on Linux and contain Docker container. So that's also it's available with the web app. That's also highly scalable, deployable, easily done. That can be. This I have already covered this topic, because app setting, whatever we can do, app setting configuration, default website configuration. So those which can be done. Again, path mapping is there. This is again updating the runtime. Like if you have a latest .NET framework version, if you want to update, and that is available, so you can do it through the command line as well. Okay. This is the CORS, that is cross origin. This gives you the access to the cross origin request which is coming from the outside. So that's the feature as well, which is supported from the HTTP standpoint. So that as well you can configure in your web app. This is another thing which is scaling. I have already covered this during our discussion. Auto scaling, whatever we can do, like how we can change the memory, CPU, like the auto scale matrix which has been configured. Okay, this is the one of the another topic which I want to cover it here, like deployment slot. Okay, so what is the deployment slot in the web app? Like if you will go in the web app setting, just go to the resource group, day one, go to the app services, deployment slot. Okay, so whatever the website currently I have deployed, that is our live website, that is production website. We can create a deployment slot. Okay, so what is the benefit of deployment slot? Let's create a deployment slot. Okay, I want to name them dev. Okay, do not clone setting. Here you have option to clone from the day one, or you want to just keep it as simple. Okay, and okay, yes. So this is my development. Okay, I'll create one more UAT. So within the same app service, you have created actually a 3 website. Okay, so one for the production, one for dev, one for staging. What you can do whenever the like developer is deploying, they can deploy in the dev. Okay, they can see if it works fine. Then they can swap the code from the dev to UAT, so that tester can test and perform the testing. If that is fine, they can move this code directly to the production. So just you have to click swap from which environment to which environment you want to swap. From dev, I want to swap to UAT. And just if you click swap, it just moves your code from the one website to another one website. Okay, I'll show you. So let's suppose I went to dev. What URL I am getting here? It will be a new URL. Day one training dev. Okay, so this is the dev URL. There is nothing has been deployed, so you will not be able to see anything. Okay, this is the UAT. UAT. And another one we have production, which is the live environment. You will not be having here. You can see it here. Okay. Okay, let's deploy this code again in the 31st October 2020. Okay. I want to deploy this in the dev environment. Okay, I'll download the publishing profile for the dev environment. I'll push my code. Delete. Okay. I'm just importing a new publishing profile, which is for my new dev thing. Downloads, dev publishing profile, finish. Okay, I've selected a web deploy. You can create just configure as a debug or anything if you want to debug this code, and publish. Now I am deploying this code to my dev. It will not be deployed to my original production one. So once I am fine with my code, everything, then I can push this code to the staging. Let's see that. Okay, so it's successful. I go back to my portal, and this is the UAT one. There'll be no change in UAT. If I go refresh the dev, I can see there is a change. Okay, there is no change in the original URL. Okay, so my dev is ready. So I can validate the code, everything we can do, and I'll go to the deployment slot, and swap from dev to UAT. Okay, and then you are clicking swap. Okay, swap is successful. If I go to UAT, just refresh here, you will find here UAT is now deployed from the dev. Okay, so what benefit you are getting here? Within one web application, you have the 3 underlying website created inside the web slot. Okay, so here you will be having UAT, like developer will deploy here, then UAT will be done, and then. But one thing, just remember, you can't do a load testing here, because what happens, this is using the same app service plan which you have configured for this. So within one app service plan, you have a website, and within that website, you created a 3 slot. Okay, so all these 3 slot is using your same underlying whatever the you have provision for the web application. So the same web app plan is getting used. So it's for the simple testing. You can use, and then you can deploy the code here and do the swapping. Another thing is, I just wanted to tell that, like if you go here in the dev, we configure here like application setting and connection setting. Okay, so when you are defining the connection for the development, your database connection string will be different. Your UAT some connection string will be different. So when you are configuring them, just tick this deployment slot setting. So this setting, this connection string, and the value which I am saying, like dev DB. Okay, so I want this not to swap. While you are swapping, it will be remain on this deployment slot itself. So this is the deployment slot setting, and this, while swapping, this I don't want to swap. So if it's not checked, so this setting as well will move to the higher environment. So any confusion in this deployment slot? Okay, one more thing, I want to convert traffic, like sometime for the testing, I want to move my 10% traffic to the UAT. So my live traffic, I am transferring it to UAT. Okay, So if I want to test some of the application, I want to send the live traffic to my testing environment and see how that performs. So if 10 requests is coming, 9 requests will be going to production, 1 request will be coming here. So you can see here how the performance is in the UAT as well. So that also you can change here the traffic percentage. So this is the same thing. It's saying that you can host like a staging to production, production to a staging, dev to test, test to QA, QA to product, QA to production. Those can be done. Okay. So for the developer perspective, you just have your code ready, and then you just do the deployment using the Git, and then you deploy to the staging, and a staging you can swap it to production. So that's what it says. So you don't needed a downtime like in this process. What happens? It's directly swap immediately from one stage to another stage, and you don't need downtime. Quickly it will be done, and that will be fast as well. So auto swap. Okay, so this I have already configured and covered. Like you want to like send the traffic, 25% traffic to the new feature. Like that's what I want to say. So like you have implemented a new feature in your application, and which you want to test. Like you can see that how seamlessly it is working. So you can transfer your traffic over there. And that's possible. And you can, if you'll say that how the database performs, like you can change the point the database to same application. Okay, so you will be having live data. You will not lose the data, all those things. Okay. Another thing that this part of this web app deployment, you have a lab specific to that. Let's see.
So this is the lab which we have it's provided by Microsoft for 204 for all the topics which we are covering. So you can go to here in this URL. You can keep it with you. GitHub/ Microsoft Learning Azure 204 developing solution for Azure Fundamental solution, and you can go to the instruction lab. Okay. So here we have 13 module, and you have the 13 labs for that. Okay, just you have to go to this and follow this steps. Okay, from here exercise. Okay, and creating to Azure. Then it says that create a storage account as well. So we'll cover later on, but you can directly go and follow these steps. It's very simple. So creating a storage account and selecting the subscription and all those things, and then it connects your you'll be uploading some of the image in the storage account, and you'll be using in your from the blob you'll be using in your website. So it's very simple as this. You can directly go and follow. Basically, this requires few of the prerequisites which is there. You should have a PowerShell. So if you don't have PowerShell directly, you can go to the Azure portal as well, and you can use a Azure CLI. Okay. So and you should have a Visual Studio Code. So to perform this lab. So this you can do somewhere tomorrow or maybe in weekdays whenever you get time. So this you can do it later on. So do you have any question with on this topic? No questions? So actually, we covered very fast actually this exercise, and we had some issue in between as well.
Yes, even we were also distracted.
So are you able to follow this, whatever I have covered? Anything?
Yes, yes. In the last, we could able to cover to some extent.
Okay. So I'll share this PPT with you. I'll send it through the mail. I'll upload somewhere and I'll share the link with you all. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
So if nothing much, we can wind up the call. If any question, I'm open for that.
No questions for now. We'll come back, Shadab, if we have it.
Yes.
Then thank you all. Thanks a lot.
Thanks all. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you, Shadab.
Thank you, Shadab.